Hello.
Hello there.
Well, I'm afraid we're out of sound there, weren't we?
Never mind. Perhaps you know the tune so well you were able to hum it for yourselves.
Yes. Well, I wonder if you could guess what those feet were for. Well, if you can't, you'll have to wait till later on in the programme. Patch didn't like them, he's just disappeared. But I'll give you a clue. It's something Chris and I can join in with as well.
Well, I know what it is, but I'm going to keep it a secret too. Meanwhile, we've got a very important announcement. As from next Monday, Blue Peter is going to be 5 minutes earlier. That's at 5 minutes to 5. So don't forget from next Monday onwards to switch your televisions on 5 minutes early. Otherwise, you'll miss the beginning of the programme. Well, do you remember last January we had a racing car simulator in the programme, in the studio? And this is to train people how to race cars. Well, today, right here again in the studio, we've got the world's first racing motorcycle and sidecar simulator. And this means that you'll be able to go right the way around Silverton Racetrack without ever going out of doors. And to find out more about it, over to Chris.
Well, this one works on exactly the same principle as the racing car simulator. You see, in here, we've got a model of the Silverstone circuit. And you can see at the end of the pole there's a small light, and when the light is on, it shines actually through the model, and that projects the track itself onto the screen, which is here, in front of the chap who's driving the motorcycle. And when the model moves, so the picture on the screen moves. You see, because all the controls on the bike itself are electrically linked to the model through a sort of type of computer. That's the throttle, the clutch, the gears, the brakes, and of course the steering. So when you accelerate, so the model goes a lot faster. Well, if you've ever been to a motorcycle or sidecar meeting, you'll know that the chap in the sidecar works very hard to keep the sidecar on the ground. Let's have a look at some experts doing it. Well, see the chap leaning out? He's almost touching the ground, and if he didn't, the machine would topple over. You watch him on the other corner too. Leaning right back, smack into the middle again. Round he goes, and each time keeping the balance. Right, John, let's have you, because I want you to do that, to keep the balance.
It's always me, isn't
You
it?
game to have a go?
Yes, all right. I got me crash up.
On you get then.
Right.
All aboard. That's right, make yourself nice and comfortable down there.
I'll get down.
Now, the wonderful thing about this particular simulator is that there are electrical contacts on the two sides of the machine to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Because if we're not, we're off the track.
Oh.
Now, what you've got to do, if we go to the left, you lean out to the left.
Right.
If we go to the right, you come right up on top.
I got to really lean, haven't I?
Yeah,
So I'm
okay,
gonna
get your
up a bit.
heels down. Right. So now I press the start button, ignition on. And we're getting the engine now. Right, lights out, please, because here we go, Silverstone. There's the track coming up, right. He's into first.
Oh!
Now, you've got to come over to me in a minute.
Yeah, we got to run.
Oh, no, we're getting run off! Ah! Wait a minute, I get back on again. No, I don't think I will. Yes, we're back. Keep the lights down. We're doing fine.
We're back on now.
There we are. There it is.
Get on a very good drive, right?
No, I'm not actually. Don't bounce it too much. Now, in we go, and lean on the right. Are we doing it?
we're over the
Oh, there we go. I think we better have the lights back on again.
I think you're a bit of a dodgy driver on
Yes, I think I'll need a lot more practice.
Oh, well, I'm glad I got my crash hat on. It certainly gives me a spaceman feeling.
Well, they certainly do, you're quite right. Well, space is where we're going next, because we've got the first episode of the very latest Bleep and Booster adventure. It's called Bleep and Booster and the Mystery of Yukos 9.
Somewhere in Myron City, the white-domed capital of the planet Myron, Bleep and Booster were having a more than usually exciting day. A jet car had driven them out of the city centre with the captain along the northern exit auto route to a large complex of buildings perched on a rocky ridge overlooking the city. One of them was SCOS, Space Centre for Outer Security. It was a forbidden area to most Myron citizens, but Bleep and Booster, under the charge of the captain, had been granted a special visitor's pass. A Apart from the quiet hum of hidden generators and the occasional clatter of an incoming message, the main bureau was a place of awe-inspiring calm. Bleep and Booster felt very impressed. Then the captain led them to a big space scanner installed at the end of the vast room.
Look into the scanner and tell me what you see,
he said. So Bleep and Booster took it in turns to peer into the eyepiece. A small dark planet could be seen, glowing very faintly in the reflected light of a distant sun.
You are now looking at UCOS-1, short for Early Warning Communication Observation Station. Let me explain in more detail,
said the captain. He drew a circle on his pad.
This is Myron with its space center.
Then he drew 9 smaller circles round the bigger one.
These are early warning stations numbered 1 to 9, installed on small uninhabited planets around Myron.
The captain's pencil drew 9 lines.
They are all in communication with our space center here, and they are also in communication with each other. In this way, we have a tight early warning system against any danger coming from outer space. Now, let me show you something else.
They followed the captain out of the main bureau and up a long, sloping steel ramp towards a small opening. Suddenly, they found themselves outside on a vast platform at the very top of the space center. Below them lay Myron City, the white domes gleaming in the clear atmosphere. But what excited Bleep and Booster most was a small spacecraft, poised like a bird on the edge of the platform. The captain smiled with pride.
Our new experimental solar jet. It carries 6 in comfort, 4,000 pounds of freight, 4 compressed solar energy engines. The fastest thing in our corner of space. How would you like a trip in her?
Bleep and Booster were delighted.
But this is no joyride. We are taking a relief crew to UCOS-8, one of the early warning stations I was telling you about, and we leave almost at once.
As he spoke, 3 Myrons appeared in the shadow of the solar jet. They wore all sorts of strange clothing and were bigger than the normal Myron. Altogether, they were the toughest-looking bunch Bleep and Booster had ever seen. The boys looked alarmed.
Do not worry. These men are hand-picked for their courage and dedication. They have a tough job,
said the captain. And Bleep and Booster were introduced to the crew, who seemed kind and friendly despite their odd appearance. They clambered aboard the solar jet, for takeoff time had arrived. And inside, they strapped themselves onto low couches, which was necessary because of the violent acceleration of the takeoff. Then, the solar jet was canted to its high-velocity takeoff angle.
Stand by,
warned the captain. The solar jet streaked into space on its mission to UCOS-8. In a matter of seconds, the planet Myron had become a shining globe 1,000 miles away. Released from their takeoff couches, Bleep and Booster watched from a small observation porthole for the first glimpse of UCOS-8. It didn't take long.
UCOS-8 dead ahead,
the captain announced, and they saw a small, dim planet hanging in space before them. It looked very cold and uninviting, with a pitted surface like the moon.
Look, I can see a light,
cried Booster. And they saw a slim searchlight beam reaching thousands of feet coming from the very center of the Myron camp. The solar jet zoomed steadily towards the beam, and soon the camp was clearly visible. Beside the usual type of domed Myron building stood a large prefabricated hangar. But what surprised Bleep and Booster most was the vast surrounding area, neatly tilled and cultivated, with space cattle browsing on slopes that looked quite grassy.
The weather machines must have been working overtime,
smiled the captain. The solar jet dropped slowly onto the landing apron. The The outgoing crew was waiting to greet them. They looked tired and grubby after their spell of duty, but happy to see new faces. The crew leader took Bleep and Booster to explore the site, starting with the large hangar. Once inside, the two boys gasped in amazement. The huge space was completely filled with 3 colossal machines. The crew leader explained what they were.
These lenses collect heat from distant incandescent stars and spread it over large areas for continuous warmth. This machine directs chemicals into the upper atmosphere to form cloud, which in turn produces rain and even snow. Here is our wind machine. At full throttle, it can cause a full-sized gale. With these machines, we hope eventually to change the weather on all Yukos planets so that conditions are the same as on Myron.
Next, they visited the communications room, where the captain was already installed with the incoming crew. There was a lot of work to be done.
Before we can complete the changeover, all other Yukos planets must be contacted to ensure that communications are intact. Watch and listen. Yukos 1 is signaling that all is well. Yukos 2 is receiving us loud and clear.
Each station signaled in turn on their telescreens. But when it came to the last screen, Yukos 9 gave no answering signal.
Yukos 9, are you receiving me? Are you receiving me? Over.
But still there was no response from the screen.
This has never happened before. It could be a transmission failure, but that is highly unlikely. We must investigate Yukos 9 immediately.
As the alarm was sounded, from the window of the communications room, a grey smudge could be seen thousands of miles away against the dark sky. Why was there no answer? What was happening on Yukos 9?
Well, out in space, anything can happen, so we'll have to wait till next Thursday to find out exactly what the mystery is. Well, the other day we had a letter from Jonathan Elliott, and he's 5½, and he lives at number 1 Brindle Close, Preston. Well, earlier this year, Jonathan was on holiday in Anglesey, and he found a mouse. It was an ordinary mouse, just like this. Well, I was as fast asleep, actually. We'll just wake him up. And he decided to call him Cymru, which, as some of you know, is Welsh for Wales. Well, obviously, Cymru hadn't been born very long, and his eyes were tightly closed, and he was only 1 inch long. Well, unfortunately, his mother had been run over by a car, so Jonathan picked Cymru up and placed him in a paper handkerchief and popped him in his hangerack to keep him warm. And when he got home, his mother managed to feed him with some warm milk by dipping a cotton wool bud, like this, into some milk and feeding him. And we'll give ours a little feed. Here you are. Oh, he doesn't. I don't think he wants it. Well, the next day, they managed to feed him with a doll's feeding bottle like this. But sometimes the milk did run up his nose a little. And ours doesn't really want that at all. Well, in 3 days later, he's opened his eyes for the very first time, and he managed to eat some bread and milk off a teaspoon. Well, I popped the teaspoon in there for you. And he also likes cereal and blackberries, so we'll see if our mice like cereal and blackberries. Well, when Jonathan and his family finished the holiday, they decided that Cymru was still too small to look after himself, so they decided to take him home to Preston. But that's when disaster overtook them, because one night Cymru disappeared from his cage, and they couldn't find him. 3 days later, Jonathan's cat was making quite a noise outside the door. When they went to investigate, there was Cymru. He'd come home, and he was none the worse for his adventure. Well, I think that's a pretty unusual rescue story. And I think Jonathan certainly deserves a Blue Peter badge for looking after Cymru so well. And talking of mice, we heard of a whole family that lives somewhere very unusual, and you've probably heard about them too.
A mouse lived in a windmill in old Amsterdam. A windmill with a mouse in, and he wasn't grousing. He sang every morning, how lucky I am. Living in a windmill in this mouse, he got lonesome. He took him a wife, a windmill with mice in. It's hardly surprising. She sang every morning, how lucky I am, living in a windmill in old Amsterdam. I saw a mouse where? There on the stair. Where on the stair? Right there. A little mouse with clogs on. Well, I declare, going clip, clippity, clop on the stair. Oh, yeah. First they had triplets and then they had twins. A windmill with quins in, triplets and twins in. They sang every morning how lucky we are, living in a windmill in Amsterdam, yeah. I saw a mouse where? There on the stair. Where on the stair? Right there. A little mouse with clogs on. Well, I declare, going clip, clippity, clop on the stair. Oh, yeah. The daughters got married and so did the sons. The windmill had christenings when no one was listening. They all sang in chorus, how lucky we am, living in a windmill in old Amsterdam. I saw a mouse where? There on the stair. Where on the stair? Right there. A little mouse with claws on. Well, I declare, going clip, clippity, clop on the stair. Oh, yeah. A mouse lived in a windmill so snug and so nice. There's nobody there now but a whole lot of mice.
That's an awful lot of mice for one windmill. Well, do you remember I said in the last program that if you had 4 pieces of card and 2 pieces of tape, like this, I would show you how you could make a trick that you could amuse all your friends with. And this is it. And it is, in fact, called a magic Chinese wallet. And there's the wallet inside, there's the outside. And this, in fact, is a badge-winning idea sent in to us by a Blue Peter viewer. And the idea is that you come out with your wallet like this and you ask your friends if they have a £1 note or a 10-shilling note. And when they give it to you, you put it under the side like this, where you've got the 2 straight bits of tape there. And you close it up and you say a few magic words like abracadabra, Blue Peter, and then you open it up and it's on the other side. See, it doesn't actually vanish. This is what's a little bit different about this trick. Wonder if you can guess how it was done. I'll close it up again. And there you are. And again. And in fact, the secret is that you turn it over. And if you're very quick, you won't be spotted doing that. And I'll show you how you do it. First of all, the 2 bits of tape. These are 16 inches long. And the card I've used is 4 by 6. And of course, all 4 pieces must be exactly the same size. And you take your first piece of card and you place it on the tape like that. And leave about 1 inch showing at either end. And a bit of glue on here. And there. And then you bend the tape back, glue it down to the card, like that. Then you get another of the pieces of card, and this time slip these underneath, like that. And these you'll want very slightly to come across the card, so put a line of glue like that, and a line of glue there like that. And keeping that together, stick that one over there, and this one down that way, like that. And now it's quite a good idea to put this aside and let it really dry well before you carry on. So I have in fact got one, there it is, exactly the same, that I have already finished and it's dried off. And now you turn it over like that. Then you lift this side up, the side that's got 2 pieces of tape going across, and taking the other ends, push them through like that, at the same time crossing them over each other. There. And if I get these pieces the other side like that, you can see how they cross over. And then fold that down on top of it, pull these nice and taut, and a bit of glue again here, like that. And that goes there, and that one goes. It does get a bit sticky at this stage, actually. That goes there. And the other 2 bits of card are simply so that you can hide all these little bits of tape stuck down like this. You can fool your friends even more. And it just covers the back up and makes it nice and neat. One that side, and turn it over, and one on the other side, like this. And stick that on the back. And you can see there that the backs now are neatly covered, and you've just got the wallet inside. There it is. One magic Chinese wallet. And if I can remove this 10-shilling note, I think I'll see if this works on John. So if I can call him in. John?
Yeah?
Try my trick out on you.
Oh.
Have you got a 10-shilling note or a pound note? Something like...
Yeah?
There we are. Now pop it under that side.
I've got to get it back, haven't I?
Oh, it was all right. It won't
disappear
vanish.
for good.
No, promise.
Oh, good. Right?
Now, it's there, you see?
Yeah.
Close it up. I'm going to say a few magic words. Abracadabra, Blue Peter.
Yeah.
It's the other side.
Hey, that's very good.
Do you know how it's done?
No, can I...
Well, you go away and work it out. See if you
Right.
can tell me afterwards if you can
Okay.
work out how it's done. Well, if you do think you'd like to try and do that for your friends for parties, it's certainly great fun. Keep them guessing. If you think you're going to get it wrong, don't worry. Just send us off a stamped, addressed envelope and we'll send you the instructions. Well, now for some more about those mysterious feet that we saw at the beginning of the programme. So let's go over and join Chris.
No, I'm not dressed to play rugby or to play hockey or football or even basketball.
Or to go running. We're dressed for one of the oldest sports in the world, tug of war. And those feet you saw earlier belong to these two tug of war teams.
Because last Saturday, the 1966 Indoor Tug of War Championships were held at Alexandra Palace here in London. And these two teams, who both come from the School of Artillery at Larkhill, were just two of the 72 teams taking part from all over the country.
Well, there were 4 classes in the championships, and the School of the Artillery did extremely well. They were in the semi-finals and the quarter-finals.
Of the heavyweight division.
Of the heavyweight, yeah.
Well, we're going to have a special Blue Peter Tug of War contest right here in the studio. But instead of having 8 people aside, as usual, we're going to have 9 people aside, because we're going to have a go. All right?
I'm fragile today.
Come on, John.
Right.
Go for it.
You want me to start you off?
Oh,
Yes, please, Val.
All right, well, are you ready? I've got a stopwatch, by the way, so I can time you.
Okay.
Pick up the rope. Now, by the way, this is the most important thing here. We've got this sort of piece of rag tied round the middle, and it's the team that gets it past their winning point, and John's is over here. John's team, we've got their post this side, and Chris's over here on this side. So, if you get ready, get set, pull.
Well done.
32 seconds.
Well done, lads.
Splendid.
Well done. 32
Potter,
seconds, that was
32
all.
seconds.
And what was the record last year?
The
for
record
length?
last year was, for an indoor tug of war, was 28:31.
28 minutes, 31 seconds. And in, what was it, 1889 in India, they went on for 2 hours, 41 minutes.
Well, in those days, the rules were different because if both teams agreed, they could sit down and have a rest, which is what I wish we could have done here.
Oh, I'm all ready for a rest now.
Well, on the next programme, we'll be having some news about a famous police dog called Rebel.
And I'll be showing you a garage where the customers do all the work. And don't forget, next Thursday is the last time Blue Peter will be on at 5 o'clock. After that, we'll be on at 5 to 5.
See you Thursday then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.